Hello fellow cinephiles, today I'm reviewing Bumblebee. This was directed by Travis Knight and stars Haliee Stienfeld and John Cena. The year is 1987. Bumblebee is on the run after crashing to Earth from Cybertron. He finds refuge in an old junkyard in a small California town. We're introduced to Charlie Watson. This is played by Haliee Stienfeld. She's on the cusp of turning 18 and trying to find a place in the world. She discovers Bumblebee in the junkyard while trying to scavenge parts to fix up her old Corvette, something she was working on with her father before he passed away. When she finds Bumblebee, he's a bit scarred and broken and battle-worn, but he doesn't really have a memory of who he was. And it's really about the relationship that these two form and the things that they would do for each other, protect each other no matter what happened. And it's really about them trying to stop Decepticons coming to Earth and destroying it, and destroying the rest of his team. Ultimately, it's the army trying to chase them down, these two banding together and trying to battle through the military men that are after him, as well as the other Decepticons coming to Earth as well. And it's really a fun and exciting sort of film that leads to a sort of fun and exciting ending with a lot happening throughout the middle of the film. I was a bit hesitant coming to this film. Seeing all the Transformer films, I've been screwed over too many times, especially the last one, The Last Night. I really hated that. And I just wasn't interested at all in going and seeing another one. Anyway, I saw a trailer and a few other reviewers were talking about this film, and I became sort of interested in it a little bit. I liked that they went back to the old designs of the Autobots and Decepticons. I like that it starts with a Cybertron battle that we don't really get to see much of. I think what Travis Knight has done is fantastic. This is his second film after his Kubo and the Two Strings, which was brilliant, really great stop motion animation, which was fantastic. And I think he's done a really great job here and crafted a really interesting and fun film. I'm glad Michael Bay didn't direct this and they're going in a different direction with it, because I'm getting sick of seeing the same thing over and over again. But I think this is sort of a fresh take on it and going at it at a different angle. This is a prequel to the first film, so it takes place a few years before the first film. And we get to first introduce to Bumblebee that is at the beginning voiced by Dylan O'Brien, and then obviously loses his voice, and we see how that transpires. I think this is fantastic. I think Haliee Stienfeld is absolutely brilliant here. She's a really, really solid actress, and she plays a really fantastic character. I would have to say this is one of my favourite performances by her, and she's just quite an impressive actress. I'd like to see her move away from these sort of teen roles and do something different, but for this stage she's quite good at what she does, and I'm really impressed with her performance in this film. I think visually it looks really good. He's done a great job with that, and I think the design of the robots is fantastic, something a bit different. Megatron's talked about in this film, but we don't actually get to see him, and I guess they were saving that for due to going into the next film. It's good to see Bumblebee back in action. I missed these Transformer characters, and I really like the battle on Cybertron. I think that looks really, really great, and I reckon they should do a movie just based on Cybertron and just showing the robots before, where the war between the Autobots and Decepticons. I would like to see that as a film as well. I think the real heart and soul of this film is a relationship between Charlie and Bumblebee. I think this is the best thing about this film. I think it's the glue that holds it together, and without Haliee Stienfeld in it and the relationship between her and Bumblebee, I don't think it would be as good of a film, and I think that's really what works for it. There's some humorous moments in it, I think that work pretty well, and it's just a fun and entertaining film that you go on a journey with. It's a coming-of-age story in a way of a young girl overcoming things, the loss of her father and how that affects her, and her to come to terms with it. The struggle that she has with her mother and brother moving on and being okay with everything, and she's still stuck struggling with it. She's still trying to rebuild the Corvette that her and her father were working on. And she's sort of stuck, but when she meets Bumblebee, it gives her a reason to go on and a reason to do a variety of different. And I think because of that, that's what makes the film really fun and entertaining. There's some great action sequences in it. There's a little bit of humour. I like that Charlie's sort of a strong female character, doesn't really need a man to save her, and ultimately ends up helping and saving Bumblebee and a variety of other characters through the film. There's a bit of a love interest with the guy next door, where he's sort of pining after her, but she's not as interested as he is. And it has a really great ending where you think they're going to get together and kiss and all that sort of stuff that they do with these romance, and they don't. They do something different, take it in a different direction, and I kind of like that. There was rewrites done by the writer of Edge of 17, and you can really feel that within the film. I think the way she writes really suits Haliee Stienfeld, and I like the way Haliee Stienfeld plays the particular characters and what she's able to accomplish as an actress within the realm that she's in. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was a lot better than I anticipated, and I had fun with it, and it's a very entertaining movie. It's a very simple story, well told, and very interesting. Now, there are some criticisms I do have for the film. I felt that some of the humour didn't quite work. I thought John Cena was a terrible character, and it's one of the worst performances I think I've seen of him. I've seen him do a lot better in a variety of other films. And I think that military side was a bit cheesy. It is a throwback to the sort of 80s sort of teen movies like this that were done with the military were kind of silly, but I just don't know if it quite works for this. And there was a thing where you start with Bumblebee as this warrior sort of guy, and then he becomes sort of, when she finds him, he becomes like a scared puppy dog. And I wasn't quite sure why that happened. It didn't make sense, but they explain it later in the film that he's lost his memory and that's why he's acting the way he is. And so that sort of explains it. So that's all the sort of criticism I do have for it. And like I said, I'd go as far as to say this is probably my favourite Transformers next to the original film that they did not long ago. Final verdict. Look, I thoroughly enjoyed this. If you like the Transformer films, if you like coming of age stories, if you like films like E.T., Iron Giant or Herbie, you'll probably enjoy this as well because it has elements of each of those films in it. There's a lot of E.T. to it, but I think there's a lot of originality within it as well, and I thoroughly enjoyed what I did see. I'm going to give Bumblebee 4 out of 5. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this. If you want pure and fun entertainment, this is definitely a film for you, and I think it's a film for all ages, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Facebook, and until next time, enjoy the movies.